Pooty's watching crows.
Young crows don't leave the nest because they know how to fly. They leave because it's too dangerous to stay. Life on the ground is only marginally safer.
Kitty.
The most important lesson a young crow learns is when to move and when to stay still.
Watch Pooty. He really likes watching crows. He thinks they're funny. And sometimes attacks the
This
TV.
parent's verbal signals could mean the difference between life and death. Crows have different warning calls. One for cats, and one for hawks, and another for humans.
Did you see that?
Oh.
Scientists have identified over 250 distinct crow calls.
You can see it.
In addition, each crow has an individual voice with at least 2 different dialects. One loud version for the general crow community, and a separate quiet dialect for talk just within the family. These types of sophisticated language skills are found only among the most intelligent of species. White-wing and her brother have managed to survive their first month. They might look fully grown, but they're at the equivalent stage of a toddler. Their blue eyes have yet to turn black, and their beaks have the telltale red skin of a young crow. They're at the very beginning of learning what it takes to be a crow.
Surely fed one of them.
Nobody's really studied the acquisition or the learning process at this
You can see the
initial
crows
stage
because they're
out of the
black.
nest, but it's got to be phenomenal. They're encountering all sorts of things at that time, new foods, new dangers. They're learning all about their world in a
likes
very
watching
short,
this
hectic
show.
time. When
He
they
really
are not
likes
very
it.
coordinated, so they're also learning how to hold themselves and move through this three-dimensional world.
Even once White-wing is mobile,
should
she continues
attack
to
the
beg
TV
and rely on
soon.
her family for food. Crows can spend up to 5 years with their parents, the longest natal period amongst bird species. Like humans, the proper nurturing and education of their young takes time and gives youngsters more time to observe and learn. This luxury of time is a huge contributing factor to a crow's cognitive development. The family provides for almost every need: food, grooming, and perhaps even affection. By the time White-wing is 3 months old, she's starting to really test her wings. And yet, she still clings to her mother's side. Crows seem to need to be close to each other, especially their parents.
You hear it?
Oh,
It's like a baby sound.
By the time White-wing is 4 months old, she's starting to find food on her own. She, like all crows, quickly develops an appetite for a wide variety of foods. And this kind of diverse diet has a direct impact on brain development.
A lifestyle that's more complicated because you're eating a wider diversity of foods is something that explains part of the intelligence of some primates and also part of the intelligence of some birds. So it's the same principle, the fact that you're an omnivore, that seems to be pushing the brain towards having bigger areas to cope with the extra amount of information.
If an animal only eats fruit, then it only has to learn about one food group. Crows eat fruits, vegetables, and meat, so they have to be able to identify and learn how to work with all these foods. Walnuts, for example, are a bit of a challenge. The crows have figured out not just how to get the husk off them, they've mastered the art of how to crack a tough nut. As they fly, they gauge the weight of each nut and drop it from just the right height to have it crack but not shatter as it hits the pavement. Then they follow the nut down to make sure no one steals it. They've even refined this remarkable talent further. They make sure that the walnuts hit the road just when the traffic signals turn red, eliminating the risk that either they or their walnuts fall victim to the passing traffic. White-wing is starting to master some of the skills of being an omnivore. Clearly, it's a big learning curve. Our test crow's worlds are expanding. White-wing is leaving the safety of her parents to go off and play with others. Like a teenager, she's eager to seek adventure with friends, but reassured that come evening she can return to the safety of family.
The girls are cleaning themselves.
Social animals are typically some of the most intelligent animals. And it makes sense. Being social has a lot of demands on you that require your ability to learn and remember things.
You have to learn and remember the relation of the other to yourself. Plus, it would be very good if you also learn and remember or even infer the relations among others, that exist among others. So the more the group is structured by different types of relationship, the more brain power you need to calculate all those different types of interactions.
Now, we just have one short break left with Dr. Mattersloff.